Gents, I called it 2 videos ago that Tom Brady and Gisele were gonna get divorced, and it seems that I was right in my prediction. Now, this situation between Tom and Gisele will be a lesson to all men wanting to get married because many of you think marriage is a joke and you don't understand what you're getting yourself into. I've said countless times on the channel that there are no benefits for a man to get married in 2022 and beyond for one main reason. Nothing has changed besides you becoming more RP aware. I know that you guys seem to forget, but let me catch you up to speed. The only thing that changed was your mindset, and that's it. The divorce laws are the same, the child support system is the same, and men are still paying spousal support to their ex-wives. So I know some of you think that you got it all figured out now, but women are still divorce-graping men and holding their kids hostage to collect child support and punish the dad, so keep that in mind. And remember when I told you guys about sleeping with the enemy, I hope this serves as a lesson to all men who currently have a wife or girlfriend in their bed at night. You could be sleeping next to the ex that will stab you in the back someday and drag you through the family court when she's no longer happy, like Gisele in this case. Look at it like this: Gisele made Tom bust up inside her sweet sugary walls and gave her multiple kids. She let him enter her body probably hundreds if not thousands of times, and she slept right next to him and saw him at his most vulnerable and weakest, and she still decided to betray him. I want you to think about that for a minute and realize that the same thing has happened to millions of men worldwide who were married and got divorced or had a long-term girlfriend where things didn't work out. And those same ex-exes dragged them through court mercilessly to get their bag and destroy the guy's life. The worst part is that even some of your worst enemies never treated you as bad as some of your ex-wives and baby mamas, but the person you trusted with your life and deepest secrets were 10 times worse than the ops. This is the reality of a lot of men who got dragged or are still getting dragged by a bitter and vindictive ex-wife, and I'm predicting that Gisele is going to do the same thing to Tom to try and ruin this season for Tom and him winning the Super Bowl because she just doesn't want to see Tom win. Have you guys ever noticed that whenever a man is striving in life, there's always a woman to mess it up? And everyone except Gisele suffers in this scenario, and let me tell you why. The kids are the ones who will suffer the most because they will have their family implode and their world change forever. Next will be Brady because he'll get his kids snatched away from him, his season will be messed up highly likely, and he might not win the Super Bowl if he's in the middle of a nasty divorce. Following that will be the Buccaneers and all the millions of people placing their bets and money on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. And all of this BS will happen all because of a woman and the fact that she couldn't get her way, and now she's not happy. Look at how many people will be affected by this one woman's decision, but hope strategists will still cater for Gisele and blame Tom even though Gisele is the one acting up. This is why I promote the free agent lifestyle so much, and the book is also in the description because if you don't get married, then none of this can ever happen to you. Period. When will you guys learn that it's not worth it in today's day and age? Now you can do it and accept the risks involved, but you better be prepared for the inevitable divorce that will happen statistically. And I believe Tom and Gisele made it more than a decade, and he still couldn't keep her, so what make you think you, as a broke Dusty, will have a successful marriage? But do what you want because it's your one life to spend, and only you can know if marriage will be worth it. But for the rest of us over here, just stay single if you can't handle the risk and consequences of being divorced. I know I'm never getting married, not after I saw what divorce did to my father, so count me out of that. But for the relationship guys and the guys snorting hopium, go ahead. I'll see you in 7 years plus fighting in the family court with your ex-wife. With that said, let's go over the article and try to piece together what happened between Tom and Gisele. Today's article is from People, and the title is Gisele Bundchen has hired a divorce lawyer, Tom Brady trying to figure out what to do, sources. It happens quick, and most guys never see the divorce coming. Anyways, I hope we're doing at least 300 on a likes, or I'm gonna have to come find you with the jammy, if you know what I'm saying. Don't let me pull out that machine on you, so 300 likes and we cool. Grab a Scooby snack, open a beer, and let's dive into the Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen situationship. Sources tell People that Bundchen has hired a divorce lawyer after months of tension between her and husband Brady. Gisele Bundchen has hired a divorce lawyer following months of tension between her and her longtime husband, Tom Brady, sources confirmed to People. A source tells POPL that Brady is trying to figure out what to do after Bundchen hired a lawyer and is looking for one himself. Representatives for Bundchen and Brady did not respond to People's request for comment. Gents, just like the statistics say, women file for divorce more than men, and most of the time, like Tom Brady, they never see it coming. So always remember that there's a reason why the statistics say that women file for divorce more than men. Also, the person who files first, I believe they get to drag out the proceedings and continue to sue the other person to appear in court, if my memory serves me right, so it's not a coincidence that they always rush to have the man serve papers. And when you get married, any number can play just like in a lottery, but just off statistics alone, you know that you are more likely to get ramrodded in the judge's chambers than have a successful marriage, so always think about that before you propose. You will be at a significant disadvantage to try and make your marriage work because the incentivization of women to divorce men is always in play. But it is what it is. The choice is in your hands at the end of the day. Some of you will win, but most of you will lose, and when you lose, nobody will be there to help, and you'll be all alone, so keep that in mind. Let's continue. Page 6 was the first to report the news. Sources previously told PUPL that a rift between Brady and Bundchen began partly when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback decided to return to the NFL earlier this year after a brief 40-day retirement. Bundchen and Brady share 2 children, son Benjamin Reen and 9-year-old daughter Vivian Lake, along with Brady's son John Edward, with ex-Bridget Moynihan, in his post-NFL career. Another source said Bundchen did not like how Brady handled his return to the Buccaneers. She was so happy when he announced his retirement, and she wasn't thrilled at all when he went back on that, the source said. They're hitting a rough patch, they added, but I know they're trying, or at least he's trying to figure it out and make it work. He wants to get through this and for things to get better. Brothers, whenever a man is striving in life, there's always a woman to come and F it up. Let me be real with you guys. Do what you want to do, whether you're married or single, because you can't make women happy. It's your one life, so never give up on your dream or something you love because of a woman, and you know deep down that she's gonna leave you regardless of whether you toe the line or be like a man and do what you want. The sad part is you get penalized like how Brady will if you don't say, happy wife, happy life. That is why I'm telling you to stay away from marriage if you're not prepared to deal with the BS that comes from it. Gents, the best strategy is to avoid and live free. Your wife will change, and most times it won't be for the better. That's why Coach Greg Adams always say the bait and switch is always at play, and at any moment, she can switch up on you, just like what Brady had to do when he realized he was being a fool giving up his legacy for her. Continuing. Another insider said the 7-time Super Bowl winner is totally devoted to his children during the off-season and spends time with his family in between games and traveling. No other husband gets 6 months off a year to be totally devoted to just their family, the source said. And during the season, yes, he travels for games and trains, but he's with his family a lot too. Since the start of the 2022 season, Bundchen has not been seen at any of her husband's 4 games. One source told POPL she has been spending time away from Brady. Going back to Tampa after the retirement put a strain on the personal side of his life, a source said. Gisele is frustrated and sick of his career coming before their family, who has always supported him. The couple spending time apart from one another has happened before, the source explained. They decided together that Brady would retire, and then he decided by himself that he'd come back, the source told POPL. She said they'd talk about it more, but then he came back anyway before they had really talked it all through. She's a very pros versus cons person, and she sees very few pros to him playing anymore, they continued. The Buccaneers have lost back-to-back games over the last 2 weeks after winning their first 2 games of the season. They are currently tied with the Atlanta Falcons for first place in the NFC South and will face the team on Sunday. Again, gents, you have to do what makes you happy because you can never make her happy. He already had time to spend with the kids, but it was not how she wanted it, and that's why she's upset that he decided to be a man and do what he has to do to provide for his family. And look at the hypocrisy here. She wanted Tom home to take care of the kids so she could focus on her modeling career, and Gisele is upset because he didn't do what she wanted him to do. It's not like both of them were going to raise their kids because she said she wanted to go back to work, so she's a hypocrite. And of course, she's not supporting him, and I can bet she's going to drag him through the family court, which will affect how he plays just to prove a point. This is why we warn you guys to stay away from marriage if you can't handle or afford a divorce. Some of you think the divorce will be smooth because she's worth more than him allegedly, but I guarantee she won't make this an amicable divorce, mark my word. And all of this is because he chose to commit and put seed in her belly. Gents, if any other developments happen, I'll cover it, but this is a lesson for men. No matter what you do, it's never enough, and your wife will betray you because she's incentivized to do it regardless of what you've done for her. So think long and hard about whether you want to roll the dice and understand that marriage is grand, but divorce costs $100 grand. Keep that in the back of your head. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We post content that will make you think about whether or not relationships are for you, so subscribe if you're interested in learning about relationships. And if you want to support the channel for free and learn at the same time, then watch our Season 5 videos on the screen right now to always be one step ahead of modern women.